Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you wherever you are joining us from. This is a special episode of Know Your Leader, a show that seeks to expose you to those that are seeking political leadership in our society, so that you can come in terms with who they are, what they stand for, and what is it that they bring your way. And today we are privileged to be joined by an aspiring member of parliament from BUTULA constituency. And I would love to bring him forth so that he tells us who he is and what he stands for. How are you, sir?
I am fine, thank you. And I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Welcome to the show. Please give us your names and what you are up to in life.
I'm ODWEYO Kennedy, a village boy from Mauko in Marach East Ward, BUTULA constituency. I'm currently an aspiring member of parliament for BUTULA constituency in 2022. And before my aspiration is guided by my enthusiasm towards youth leadership, good governance and leadership. Some of the things I've been practicing for a number of years now. So I've also worked with other political aspirants before. I've been involved in campaigns strategically and on the ground. So I've also decided to put that into practice. And considering as a country you are trying to encourage young people into leadership, I chose to lead by example because I believe I have ideas that if we put into practice can make the world a better place, can make BUTULA grow and become a self-sustainable society.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable ODWEYO, for choosing this channel to be a channel of your choice to air out your beliefs and your persuasion about leadership. Kindly take us through your schooling so that we are aware how do we trace you?
Oh, thank you so much, Bonaben. I always consider myself culturally, I'm a villager, but socially, I'm an urbanist. So that combination is a very wonderful one. I was born and raised in Mauko village. My primary school it's called Mauko DB Primary School. It was actually a walking distance from my home. From there, I went to BUTULA Boys Secondary School. From there, I proceeded to the University of Nairobi, where I did a BCom in Management Science. So you can see I'm just a boy raised in the village. So I have that understanding of the village, and that's my motivation because I understand my village, I've grown up in it. I see the challenges, and I know what I can do to make it better.
Okay. What are your religious persuasion?
I am a religious man and very spiritual, Catholic, baptized, and confirmed. And I practice my religion proudly and publicly.
So how safe are other religion in Butler apart from your religion?
You see, the people of BUTULA, of their constitutional enlightenment, appreciate the fact that we are not a religious state. So as long as someone is practicing their faith without posing to the lives of others, everyone is religious and spiritual flexibility in BUTULA. We have Muslims, we have Catholics, we have ACK, we have all the other churches, and everyone is allowed to practice their faith in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya.
Thank you. Please take us through your political persuasion before we get into your aspiration for leadership.
Political persuasion. Bring me up to speed to that. I know that.
Political persuasion. Are you a conservative? Are you a Democrat? What's your political convictions?
My political ideology. Yes. I consider myself a centristic leftist. I'm inclined, I call myself, let's say I'm a social communist. I'm inclined more towards societal well-being. I'm inclined more towards societal well-being as opposed to profits. I'm that person who believes that for a society to grow and for equity to prevail, we need to find a balance between profits and societal well-being. So as a person, I'm that guy who will advocate, as a leader, I advocate for policies that ensure that we don't make profits at the expense of the people. Because when you overfocus profits, that's where things like corruption come in. That's where things like abuse of office come in. But when we are people-centered, then we sit down and we decide on programs that ensure that the society is the paramount aspect in our decision making and law making.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Now, I want us to get into you letting us know why should Butler consider you as their Member of Parliament in 2022? Why not another person? Why not the current MP? And you are now fronting yourself as the best for the hour at this point in time. Why should the people of Butler pick on you and leave every other person?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I was looking forward to it. Why me? One, I have a vision for Butula. My vision involves incorporating technology as the principal asset of the 21st century in every decision that we make. As a person, my vision is about when we are talking agriculture, we involve technology. When we talk education, we infuse technology so that we raise a technologically compliant society, because with technology, the ease and convenience of things. And that's when you look at manufacturing. I talk about things like tech-driven agriculture. We talk about small-scale to mid-level industrialization that involves centers at the world level. So that is my vision, technology, to simplify and you simplify the way of doing things and you increase opportunities through technological practices. The second thing why the people of Butula should elect me by birth and upbringing. I understand the problems in Butula. I have seen the revolution. I have grown through the evolution of the problem. I have seen the problems evolve to become what they are. So from the 1990s to the 2000s, up to date, I've seen the changing faces of the problems. And those changing faces require changing. The dynamic problems require dynamic mechanisms of solving them. And that's why I talk about being 21st century compliant in terms of my solutions.
Okay. So what is
when
your...
you sit down, yes, there are problems that were very nice, but solutions for 19. Yes, sir.
Okay. What is your take for those who think that you are too young to be asking for that kind of a seat?
Pardon?
Oh, I'm asking, what is your view of those in Butler who think that maybe you are too young to be seeking such a high seat in their locality?
Yeah, before I go to that, let me point out, I had two other points on the last question. The third one is ideas on how to develop Butler based on my experience, my education, and around more than 35 countries and resided there. The last point on that is that I have a strategy on how to win the election. Because someone cannot come to vote for someone who cannot win an election. Everyone wants to vote for someone who can win. So I have a strategy and out. So when I stand here telling people We have a vision, we have ideas, and we have a strategy. So we will win this seat by faith and action. Now, let me come to your issue of age. And you know, at the end of the day, I think it's also related to the other one. Because at the end of the day, leadership is not about age, especially in the 21st century. Leadership is about being ideologically relevant in the 21st century. If you can see issues from the perspective of the 21st century, if you can see problems and seek solutions with the perspectives of the 21st century in mind, then you are a leader. It does not matter whether you are 20, 50, as long as you have that ability to see that. You see, the point people don't understand is that there are people who become professors at 30, and there are people who become professors at 60. You cannot stop this person who became a professor at 30 from being a lecturer in the university because he's young. And at the same time, there are people who say that we are still young, we don't have experience. You cannot judge. Let me give you an example. There is a quack doctor who has been practicing for the past 10 years and has been killing patients. There's a fresh graduate from the University of Nairobi, a legitimate doctor of medicine. Are you going to say that this legitimate doctor of medicine cannot practice because he does not have experience relative to the quack doctor? So we have a situation where we have the leadership we have is an example of a quack doctor who has been killing patients, and now we have fresh graduates who believe they have the experience, they have the exposure, they have the knowledge, they have the skills to do that job. Will you deny them because they don't have experience?
It is not a matter of experience. It's a matter of our traditional belief. How will elders follow you? As a young person, you must prove that you are able to lead the way for them to follow.
I engage, you see, even at the moment, I engage the elders, but from perspective consultants, and that's our own people to do. Become our consultants. Let's seek advice from you. Let's benefit from the wisdom. Let's benefit from your experience. When leadership is about being picked from the street or being picked from under your bed. Leadership is about you, first of all, electing yourself. At that point, electing yourself, you realize I'm a person and there is thing I can. Once I have that, I do not have everything. I now come to those who have been there, those with experience, and I benefit from the experience. So at the moment, and this is how I'm handling my thing. I'm taking those people, that is an advisory council for me. These are people whose counsel I take very seriously. But the fact that they are old does not mean that it can stop me from happening contradictions. You have your idea, I have mine. We put them together because both of us want to develop our constituency. And that's why I point where I say Kenyans stop voting for politicians and start voting for themselves. When you vote for a politician, you are giving someone a job, but work for you. Someone you can hold accountable, someone who is there. At that point, it does not matter whether someone has money. It does not matter whether someone is old. What matters is that, one, this person is constitutionally compliant. What does the Constitution require of a leader? Someone to contest for an MP should be above 18. Now that's the deal. Now you vet this person from the constitutional threshold. Does he have the ideas to grow the constituency? Yes. Is he opposed to the practices that can import developers? He's talking about things that are practical. Yes. That is a leader for me.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just a moment. To our viewers, we appreciate you for joining into the discourse. If you have a question to our guest, please put it in the comments and we'll post it to him. He will be able to respond. I believe everything is getting on fine. make sure that you participate, invite somebody to join, especially those of you that are from BUTULA. It is our turn to pose questions to those that are seeking political leadership in our midst. Now, back to you, Mheshimiwa. What makes you different from the current member of parliament? If the people of Butler will put you on the same scale with the current member of parliament, why should you score better than him?
One of the reasons, see, before I even discuss that, I want to let you know, and the people of Butler know this. From generation, we have from basic.
Mheshimiwa, you're having technical glitches.
You want to talk from a thing I can say. Yeah, I can get you.
Okay, now take that. Take the question again because you had difficulties at the beginning.
Okay, what I was trying to tell you, Bernard, is that as far as the current member of parliament is concerned, there is nothing that is comparable between me and him. One, generationally, we come from different generations, so our thinking is very different. What he thinks of development is white. What I think of development in the 21st century is black. Two, age-wise, he's over 70. I'm 36. So socially, we come from different social backgrounds. So there is no way you can compare a son or a man with his grandfather. So from that perspective, I will not discuss this thing from a comparative perspective. But like I mentioned earlier, the first qualification that I have is a vision that is technology driven. Today, what rules the world? It's not the automotive industry, it's not agriculture, it's not anything. It's information. Information is control technology. We find a way of information as a global resource into a raw material for our people in Butula constituency by employing technology in our processes, then we've done. So that what I talk about is, okay, we are building schools, but can we go a step further and ensure that the graduates, we are churning out of our schools, are self-reliant? Because when we were as kids, we were education, so all you needed was a certificate. That's no longer the case. Education is important because those for, but when you leave an institution with the ability to employ yourself. And that's that's now the difference between me and the current one. Because at schools, I'm coming to build laboratories in schools. I'm coming to put up technology centers at the world level so that these high school pupils, these primary school children can learn these things when in school. Even the teachers can attend those things on Sundays. The border people talked about, there are people who went on their villages. They do simple things like development, that of the first century compliance. I talked experiential exposure. I told you we come from different worlds. He came from a world where once you finish class 7, you are forced from the village to go work for the government. I come from a generation where you have so a different way, and you see things, and it's how you perceive things that determines
it's okay, Mheshimiwa,
in addressing those issues. So by virtue of that divergence in our background.
No, Mheshimiwa, slow down. You're going too fast than your network can carry you.
Yes, sir.
You're going too fast for your network to carry the information you're giving it. So you need to relax.
No, we are supposed to have Wi-Fi center so that
I think that first priority as a member of parliament to sort out network problem in your constituency.
Yes.
Okay, now I wanted you to slow down because you are giving a lot of information and the buffering is too much, so you get hanging and some of the words are not coming out. So speak
Okay.
economically. And that which is your leadership approach, because the constituency requires you to lead it to where it's supposed to go. Are you going to carry everybody with you, or you're going to go and command them to follow? Or what are your leadership strategies that you intend to deploy to help Butler constituency?
As an MP and as a leader, I'm seeking an opportunity to govern. When you seek an opportunity to govern, you seek the mandate to work together with the people. I'm not seeking an opportunity to rule so that I tell people what to do. So as a person, I've mentioned a few enablers. I'm going to have a constituency development council with the MCS. I'm going to have a constituency youth council with young people. I'm going to have a constituency business council with nominated people from every ward. My leadership style, I'm leading people. So I must work with people. I must be for the people, with the people. So my first thing is to ensure that every decision that I escalate as a representative comes from the people.
Mheshimiwa, are you still there?
I'm there, and I was, as a leader is first among equals.
Okay.
By virtue of being a first among equals, you are equals. And when I talk of equals, I'm talking from a perspective of we as Butula, we are equal shareholders in Butula. So as a people, we need to work together. We need to talk, to communicate on our issues so that we move forward.
I want you to log out and then log in. The network from your place is having hiccups, and we want to have a good communication.
Okay.
Just get out and then get. Be able to join the studio, but as at now and me in studio. The rest of you follow from the comment section, and you pass it on to the aspirant member of parliament of Butler constituency, and will be able to respond. So, Mheshimiwa, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Safaricom. Okay, so those of you watching, and make sure you are subscribing to this channel, and alerting everybody to know that okay, Mheshimiwa, now. Mheshimiwa, upo?
Yes, sir.
You're able to get me? Now, I want us to go straight into, you are explaining about, I think you exhausted that on leadership.
Yes.
Of Butler, and how do you plan to harness them for the profiting of the people of Butler constituents?
The resources or the issues? Come again, please.
Honorable Kennedy, are you able to get my question?
Come again, please.
Mheshimiwa, upo kweli?
Yes, come again, please. I didn't get the question.
What are the economic activities of the people of Butler? How do you profiting of the constituents?
Butula is predominantly an agricultural constituency, and it's the key economic activity in Butula. But unfortunately, we come from a background where we have always practiced this agriculture from a very subsistence mentality and perspective. So that's why we need, at that point, we have always limited ourselves to the subsistence thinking.
Oh my God.
So that's why when I told
Eddie, you'll need to get out and come back again.
Technology
it seems like the network from your place is yeah,
I was saying the main economic activity in Butula is agriculture.
Themba, you're welcome to the show.
Unfortunately, the fortunate thing is that we...
Are you also hanged?
I can see
okay, you can hear me?
There is smiling.
I can hear you. Honorable member. Honorable Kennedy. Relax.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Your network seems to have issues, but we must pull through. Today we must finish this thing. So we will be patient. Urge our viewers to bear with us. Please don't be offended. It is technology, and I believe we need now to since this 4G is beginning to misbehave. All the same, Themba, you're welcome to the show, and into the discussion. We had come to the place of and plans to help revamp Butler constituency. So the member of parliament was articulating his
So Kennedy can continue to share what you are saying.
Yeah, I can continue. You're getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you. Just proceed on.
Okay, basically what I was saying is that the main economic activity in Butula has always been agriculture. Unfortunately, we've grown up and we've lived in a subsistence-minded form of farming setup. So you realize that most of these people have just been farming for subsistence purposes. Now, as a person, as their leader, as their MP, it's about ensuring that we create policies both at the national and the county level that support especially small-scale farming. And we talk of policies and programs, we are talking about creating support programs where we provide subsidies in form of fertilizers and seedlings to the farmers. We create markets, better markets for the farmers. For my case, I'm talking about issues like going as far as talking of value addition. Value addition. When we talk of value addition, we talk about putting up
honorable
small industries. Member. Yes.
The network is quite a challenge, eh?
Yes.
Praying for something better. Okay, now Themba, I would love you to take on the remaining part. Huh? I want you to usher us into the Member of Parliament articulating issues on education policy, then national politics, and then community development. Last segment of the presentation in the remaining half an hour or so. So you'll be at liberty to take on in any of those. And we pray that our Member of Parliament will be able to stabilize the network so that we have a smooth.
Okay, Kennedy, can you finish on what you're saying before I ask you the other question?
Yeah, so on issues like education, I've already mentioned it. I've already mentioned this is something that I talk about whenever I go to Butler, whenever I'm talking to the people, whenever I'm visiting every village. Education is always and will always remain the apex of our development, because that's where we get the literacy, that's where we get the skills, that's where we get the knowledge to be able to develop our society in different fields. However, my perspective of education, my desire for the people of Butula as far as education is concerned, is to move from the certificative education that we have now to the has laid down its policies. But as the leaders at the local level, there are things that we can support the government through our programs. Some of these things are things I always repeat and I will continue. We are in the 21st century where we are information driven. Information is guided by technology. We need to introduce technology at the grassroots in our economy if we want it to grow. For example, I've mentioned this and I will repeat. My policy on education is to ensure that we build computer laboratories in each and every school. Other than that, we also need to build technology centers in each ward. From there, we need to upgrade the polytechnics that
Let me ask you,
so that they become.
Kennedy,
Yes.
How many schools are there in Butula constituency? Yes, and how many schools are there in Butula constituency? And how many of them don't have computer labs?
At the moment, the schools that have computer laboratories in Butula are not more than 10%.
So do you know how?
Day, for me,
hold on.
My objective.
Do you know how many schools there are how many schools there are, because I know there are figures. How many schools there are in Butula constituency, and how many of them don't have computer labs?
Let me give you an example. Butula has around 79 primary schools.
I think it's
none of them has
buffering. I don't know what we can do to help that.
Yeah.
Did you hear me, Kennedy?
Yes, I heard you.
Yeah, so if you don't know, it's okay. You don't know how many schools, exactly how many schools there are in Butula, and how many have computer labs, and how many are to be equipped with computer labs. Because it's good, it's possible to say that I will do computer labs, but you see, if you haven't gone down to check what are the actual needs, that will not be helpful for your campaign. I think if you could come and tell us that Butula has 70, let's say for example 70 primary schools. In those 70 primary schools, 10 of them are in this particular ward, this and in this ward, and these ones are the ones in this ward that don't have computer laboratories, and this is what I'm going to do. And then are you going to equip all all primary schools, or also secondary schools? Because you see, just saying a sweeping statement like we are going to create computer laboratories, that is not as actual. That sounds more as a political statement than an actual statement. But go ahead.
Okay. You see, at the end of the day, what we are trying to say is there is something that we think we can add on what is happening to make it better. Like I said before, we are not coming to compete with anyone. We are not coming to fight with anyone. We are only coming to present alternative views that will add on what is happening. I wasn't going into the details of the number and all that stuff because I already know what is happening. And what is happening now, the farthest we are going is building those buildings, the infrastructure. That's what we are doing, which only creates spaces where people can get certificates. But we are not going into creating environments where people can get the capacity to self-sustain, to self-employ, to capacitate to a point where they no longer have to depend on what we were depending on as we were growing up. So basically, my main point there, it's about the infusion of technology in our education so that we create entrepreneurs, we create techpreneurs from the primary, from the secondary level as we move forward.
Okay, Kennedy, what
yeah,
you seem to be pro technology. Are you in any way trying to get the young people of Butula to begin to make money online?
That's the main point I'm saying. The point I'm saying, at the moment as a country, we are not, as a country, we have a society that is staffed, that actually research, and they are not unemployed out of choice. They are unemployed out of circumstances. So as a person, what I'm saying, there are two avenues that will ensure that we create easy ways of making money for the young people, legitimate money. One, through techpreneurship, where we're talking about things like, we talk of digital entrepreneurship. We are talking about things like YouTubing. We are talking about things like TikTok. We are talking about things like online writing. The only other thing that can support that is when we promote talent. So when we come to these issues of digital entrepreneurship, people can do these things. The only problem is that they lack the infrastructure and possibly the resources. So when we bring this infrastructure, we have electricity. When we bring a center where they can come and do their thing, then we won't have to limit everyone who are every Form 4 dropout or college person waiting for employment into a border rider. I'm not disparaging border riding. I'm just saying we need to create a space where people have employment. It's not even the truth is today you can't leave school hoping for employment. But if we have avenues that can turn these people who are seeking employment into employers, it will be a very good thing. And that's why we need to invest more on such ventures that will ensure that we have a wider spectrum of access to opportunities by the young people.
Okay, thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. And my next question is, what is your... God have mercy on me.
You lost him again.
Let him come back. I think by that time we'll be clearing. Although I think we'll need to bring... He has good points, but we need to bring him to Nairobi at least to interview him accurately, or he should move to an urban center.
Yeah, he has good points.
But
however,
the network is bad.
However, I pick that he's you know, people bring good points, but they don't bring the actuals. You see,
it's normal.
Yeah.
Okay, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa, unmute now. Hey, unmute your mic and speak. Okay, thank you. Now, I was...
Again?
Okay, thank you. Before you went away, I was bringing you to...
Ask a question, please repeat it.
Just relax. It's network. I think you and Ojamong need to meet and agree whether you are servicing Safaricom or not. Or is it the interference of the Uganda network? NRM radio calls. Okay, I wanted you to say something about what is your take about the national politics generally, and where do you think they are headed to? Hey, Mheshimiwa.
You keep kicking me out.
I am not the one now. I am not the one. It's your network. When I begin to kick you out, you won't come back.
Okay.
All the same. So, did you get my question? Your take on the state of our national politics and where you think it's headed.
Repeat it, please.
What is your take about the state of our national politics and where do you think it is taking us?
You see, I say this with a lot of disappointment because as a country we never learn. You see, our national politics Okay, I've got the question. Yeah. Actually, I say this with a very broken heart when I talk about national politics, because our national politics thrives on divisions, tribal divisions. We have national leaders who've made it their job to divide people for them to ascend their positions. And that's the tragedy of it all. At the moment, people are not divided ideologically. People are just coalescing along tribal formations. And that's the tragedy of our country today. Because all these people are the same. But for them to get what they must whip the emotions of the people for them to achieve the objective. And that's why at the moment, the country is just splitting as usual. And if we don't do something, we will end up where we always end up, with the chaos after every election. Because as you see now, the truth is, if you look at the way these things are going, the conversations are around tribes. The conversations are not around ideas. Most of these people are just talking about, when you talk of things like the Mount Kenya Foundation, what are they talking about? The Mount Kenya Foundation is not talking about Kenya. They are talking about how our people. When you talk of like when you talk of the One Kenya Alliance, they are talking about bringing the Kamba votes, the vote. You see, such conversations are the ones that are messing up our country. And that's why, as a person, I always say, I wish we could find a way of finding a way of breaking away from this normal madness that we always see. Because the truth is, these people eat from the...
Wow. Bernard, it's hard to ask Kennedy questions.
Kennedy has agreed with his network to be saving him from hard questions or something.
You see, I wanted to ask him.
Yeah.
You see, that one is national. But you see, locally, also, the people make their calculation based on clans.
See, that's where, in fact, I was also headed there. Has he also, he told me he has a strategy on how he will win the Butula seat. So what is his strategy that is different from the tribal arrangement or clans?
Then he disappears.
He will come around, but we are done. I think we would need, I think we'll bring him to the studio.
Yeah, he might have to come. Yeah, he seems to be a very energetic young man. So I think he needs to have his thoughts coming out, and maybe the Butula people understanding him more.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very energetic, very promising. I think the involvement is good.
Or alternatively, I think we should arrange for him to be recorded and then we premiere.
Yeah, that could also be an alternative. Because this seems not to be working.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's too off and on. This is the 5th time or the 6th. I think even
last week also didn't really work well.
It didn't work well. So I think it's this region, Butula is in Busia. Busia has a lot of Uganda network. So I don't know whether that is the interference. Of course, they must also have a weak signal.
That's unfortunate for him.
Too bad, but we wish him well.
I can stand him for him as the MP for Butula. Maybe if I articulate my issues right now, Butula people can consider voting me in.
Please. I think you should. So, what do you want to bring to Butula that's different from Kennedy?
I know Kennedy. Kennedy does not know how many schools there are in Butula as much as he wants to give them computers.
He does. He didn't tell you he does. It is network that is not favoring him. Yeah, he is. My MP, Butler constituency.
Money has been poured.
It will be surprising if you said otherwise. Since you are a political animal like I know you.
That is the work of our enemies.
You attacked your elderly MP, so he has to pour money to finish
you. Okay, you are talking.
No, sorry about that. Should I continue? I think I
yes.
Should I finish?
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
Yeah,
continue to some degree.
As a country, we are headed in the wrong direction. Because if you look at the way we are playing our national politics, we are just doing the same thing we've always done. The tribal leaders are coming together. They will come to you and tell you how they are bringing together people. But in real sense, these are just people who are using their tribes and the numbers in their tribes as bargaining chips, which is very wrong, because at the end of the day, we'll end up at the same place. And what I always tell people,
Kennedy,
these people will. Yes, sir.
Let me stop you there.
Okay.
Which is your clan in Butula?
My clan. Bafofoyo.
And how many clans do you have in Butula?
No, around 10.
Which clan is the majority?
Bafofoyo. We are the majority.
You are the majority. Do you find that as an advantage for you?
Could that be the strategy? You said you have a winning ticket?
No, that's not one of my key strategies. It's not even, because let me tell you something. The fact that we are the majority has always worked against us. Because even the current MP, who comes from the same clan, failed in 2007, failed in 2013. And in 2007 and 2013, the winners were from minority clans. So it's not something I can bank on.
Did they gang up against your clan?
Sometimes there are those dynamics there. Sometimes they do.
So there are those dynamics. Okay, Kennedy. What I'm trying to say, you don't stop becoming. You don't stop coming from your clan or stop being your tribe simply because you have joined politics.
Yes.
And the politics is local.
Yes.
So as much as we say that we condemn the groups and all, the person coming from that tribe is not necessarily bad. So we need to remove this, making it look like coming from a tribe is a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. It's a negative ethnicity that is bad.
Yes. Yes.
So you should condemn negative ethnicity, not necessarily coming from a tribe. It's okay because you can use your people to vote for you. You know,
yes.
Why are you vying in Butula and not in your another constituency or another place? Because you come from there.
Yes.
So let's try and create the narrative that it is not wrong to come from a tribe. Negative ethnicity, looking at other people as more special than others, that is what is wrong. But there's nothing wrong in trying to bring out people from your people, because if you're not voted for in Butula, nobody can acknowledge you in this country.
And remember, I agree with you 100%. My only problem is when you talked of ethnicities, about that undue superiority. And if both of us know that there are people who are coming out and saying, because we are this, we deserve this. That is my only point of divergence. But
and there's nothing. No, there's not.
That's
Kennedy, there's nothing wrong in you knowing what you deserve, because even you are taught in school assertiveness, and even the Constitution teaches you to know what you deserve, self-esteem. You don't blame your friend for knowing that they are beautiful, that they should not say that they know they are beautiful.
Themba, my point is, while
Yes.
I agree with you, but I wish these people who are purporting to bargain for these people would actually be bargaining for them, so that when they get that what they deserve, it's for the people. Because from history, those people, they are saying that we deserve this. Whatever they get never goes to the people. That's my only issue. Because
No,
if
Kennedy,
they said we deserve...
Kennedy,
Yes.
that is also not true. If I mean, we need to demarcate propaganda from truth. Some of the billionaires in that MKF are, number one, Equity Bank owner. How many Equity banks are there even in Butula? You have Equity Bank there, isn't it?
No.
There's no Equity Bank in Butula.
No.
In Busia, it's Busia County.
Yes.
In Busia County.
Yes.
Good. And do you know of Wings to Fly?
Yes, I know.
Wings to Fly, what does it do?
It sponsors
who?
Children from...
From where?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from?
Specific areas or what?
Which children? How does Wings to Fly get the children that it sponsors?
Yeah, they get children from schools. Those who are from unfortunate backgrounds, less privileged backgrounds, and they sponsor them all through.
Is that giving back to the community?
In a capitalistic state, when you take 1,000 from me and give me 10 shillings.
No. Wait, Kennedy. If your child has been paid for school fees, hasn't that made you, the person who was to pay school fees, use that money in another place, maybe to eat or do something?
Why would people not afford school fees in the 21st century in the first place? Because of the poor policies that we are making. So instead of turning people into beggars so that we come to solve the problems we've created, why don't we empower these people? Let me give an example of Wings to Fly. You see, you get a graduate, you pay him 30,000. That's why he cannot afford fees. Now you come and pay fees for their children. Why don't you pay that graduate 100,000? That person will not need that help. So this issue of turning people into beggars, and then we come to help them. You see, personally, I believe in making money out of changing lives, not changing lives out of making money. You don't take money from people and then come purport to solve the problems you've created. Solve the problems. The people will depend on themselves. If this, for example, if these MPs had made good policies, people would need bursaries, because if parents can work, people will fend for themselves. That's what people want. That's why I have even articles about how to abolish things like CDF, so that these people focus on legislation, make laws that ensure that people make money, so that they don't beg you, the people who have created the problems.
Kennedy, I like your passion.
Yes,
Bernard, just allow me. I like your passion. It's so good. But even in very developed countries, there are grants and there are scholarships. Okay, so that is not something that you can do away with. Okay, and even all the presidential candidates acknowledge the need to take the burden off the mwananchi. Number one, they'll be giving bursaries through CDF. Now, the Mount Kenya Foundation that you're condemning, Wings to Fly, educates Kenyan children who are in school right now. Some of them will be your voters. Okay? So as an aspiring MP, you don't want to be so much out there attacking structures that are already solving some already existing problems. And that someone your competitors can use that against you. So if I were you, I would be tempered in response, especially to things that are already solving Mwananchi's problem right now. There are women whose children are in school, in universities, due to wings to fly. And they are being sorted out. So you want to be very careful there. But go on, go on.
I think we are already out of, hold on.
Okay.
We are almost out of.
I wanted to appreciate him.
Network issues again.
We will be patient today.
You are the one who brought that the patience, but I want us to land. So I would want you to respond quickly to one question from Dennis Aboka. Jib Swali, are you an independent candidate or you have your political party?
An independent candidate.
Oh, you are an independent candidate. You don't belong to any political party.
An candidate, yes, no problem with any other that I think are ideologically convergent on issues that affect the people. Because I know I cannot work alone.
Sawa sawa. Now, appeal to your people for 2022 aspiration. Take like 1 or 2, 3 minutes to do so.
Pardon?
Want to give you the last moment for you to make your appeal to the people, what you wish them to do in 2022 for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is a call to the people of Butula. Since the constituency was created in 1997, there's a way that the people have always voted. And at the end of the day, there's a relationship in development and leadership. Because of the way we've been voting, we see where the constituency is. We have resources as a constituency, both in terms of human resource and natural resources like land, water, and all those things. When we put this thing together, all that we require is leadership that can coordinate, organize and coordinate resources for the sake of the people. My call to the people of Butula is, since 1997, we have always voted for retirees, most of whom have always found a comfortable resting place in parliament, and they have rested until they left. And that's why in Butula, there's nobody, it's called in our language, it's called Sabandulala. Nobody has ever gone there for more than one term because they go there to, it's retirement heaven. So I'm calling out the people of Butula constituency. In 2022, let's elect eloquent, aggressive, proactive, representative leadership so that when a budget is being made, we to have someone who will be on the floor our views after meeting us, asking questions our views the people putting. We want people to be, when we want to have an MP and say, as the people of Butula, justice is not being served on our people. We want someone who is going to organize both the political energy collectively towards the development of our constituency. We want someone who has that presence. We talk of presence, we need who can lead with the people together. When we talk about this, because it's common knowledge, resources follow leadership. We have a situation where we've always limited ourselves to the CDF, especially after the CDF came into effect. But we've never had someone who can lobby for any other resources. You realize that there are roads in Butula, major roads like from Buhui to Lugulu, from Butula to Nambale. Those are major roads that require to be marked. But we don't have someone who can lobby from the ministerial location. You find that we are in a situation where we depend on CDF, we depend on the 22% from Kera and the 10%. Nothing beyond that. Basically, we have a leadership that is waiting for the government to give it. When in real sense, we need a leadership that is going to lobby, represent us, because that is what representative leadership is about. It's about sitting with the people, picking their views, present them to the executive for allocation, and following up to ensure that the resources are allocated and they are used equitably. That is what ODWEYO Kennedy is all about, because ODWEYO Kennedy understands the problems of Butula from a 21st century perspective. And like I always say, you cannot solve 21st century problems using 19th century solutions. We appreciate what they are doing and what they have done. There are systems they are working, there are things they are doing, and we appreciate. But is that enough? No. How do we offer on the table so that we achieve that? So in ODWEYO Kennedy, you have an active, a proactive, an aggressive person who is going to lobby for resources, not just at the national level as an MP, but I'm also going to coordinate with the MCS so that we lobby from the county as one. I'm going to involve international and local partners so that we have investors in Butula, we have partners who are going to support programs for our society to grow.
Okay, thank you. That is good enough. We appreciate you making time to join us on this show and get the opportunity. Sorry?
Kennedy, that was good. I hope that at some point you will address your constituents even in the local language, but you missed that opportunity, so it's okay.
The people of Butula are very educated, brother. But what we are telling you is that
education doesn't eradicate local language. Eh?
No, it's there. That's what I'm saying.
You are a politician, and one thing you need to really know: people identify with you when you speak, even in their lingo, their mother tongue. They really want to get there. So if you can in your campaign consider having some things that you will put in your mother tongue, you will identify more with even the older generation, because you may not want older leaders, but they are older voters.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, we must close this. I want to appreciate you, Mheshimiwa, and wish you the best in your pursuit for the MPship of Butula constituency, and pray that you'll be the MP come 2022 August. And we're open for you to come back again and continue talking to your people through this channel. And also, because of the network hitches, we would at times, I think you need to come physically in the studio and talk well so that people will hear you clearly. Other than this, diaspora thing is making matters difficult. Okay. So when you are in Nairobi, make sure that you reach us, and then we can arrange for a physical recorded session. Otherwise, thank you, Themba. Thank you very much for your input.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let us call it a day. See you again. Viewers, we appreciate you. Please keep sharing that link. Subscribe to this channel and look out for another aspirant who will be looking into why they want to be what they want to be for us. And are they wametosha mboga ama bado? Mungu awabariki sana, tuonane katika kipindi kingine. Naitwa Bernard.